Hello guys, how are we now? Listen, after my last video, or the video the other day, I said to you all, what was the best car for Uber? And I said the best car for Uber would be the cheapest, smallest, most energy efficient, fuel efficient car you can get, and just maximise your profits by having very small expenses. And if you are going to get financed up, you're probably best go down the route of an electric car, because at least then you can offset the high finance payments with the cheap running costs of electric with home charge. That was the best car advice for Uber. And I give a few examples that you see some on councils now. Focus, a Focus Estate, you know what I mean, and Toyota Yaris, Toyota Prius, the little, you know, the little cars, little lecky cars, little hybrid cars, they're cheap, they're easy to buy. You see them all on the road now. And it's not really worth going into anything really big because the expenses are too high for the likes of Uber. But what I did say is once I've done that video, I'm going to come out and do a video on which is the best airport transfer vehicle. Now, there is loads of options, guys, right? But I wanted to pinpoint out a couple of things that people don't know or not aware of, right? So if you go down the route of like an Uber XL vehicle, like your Ford Galaxy, your Safaris and stuff like them, they are not a worthy airport transfer vehicle for multiple passengers. Yes, for 4 passengers and a lot of luggage, correct. But with those rear seats up, you won't have no room for luggage. Now, the main struggles with the airport transfers is not really bums on seats, it's more luggage space. You can get 4 people comfortably in a Kia Niro, but you can only get 1 and 2 suitcases in the boot, depending on how big they are. So it's all about the luggage, more about the seats. Do you know what I mean? And you want to be able to maximise as much as you can from each job and making yourself available for as many jobs as you can. So in the private hire industry, the maximum amount of passengers you can carry is 8, which is a 9-seater, right? If you go above that, you need a specialised licence and you're going down to 12 and 16-seater proper minibuses, right? So for private hire, it's up to 8 passengers, right? But a lot of minibus jobs will be 4 to 5 passengers. It'll be a family of 4 taking a granny. Do you know what I mean? Or 2 adults, 2 kids. That's like quite a popular one, right? So you could go down the route of maybe a 6-seater with a big boot, maybe a 7-seater. But if you want to maximise and try and do as many jobs as you can, then the only, in my opinion, the only option is an extra long wheelbase Ford Tornado, 9-seater. Your Renault Traffic, extra long wheelbase, same again, 9-seater. Your Vauxhall Viaro, same again, 9-seater, extra long wheelbase. That means you can do the maximum amount of people with the maximum amount of luggage, and also they're quite cheap as well. The Ford's a bit more expensive than a Renault and a Vauxhall, but obviously the Ford's a pretty big, large, spacious car. I've had one in the past, and I know a lot of lads who run them day to day. There's one that I left out because I'm going to compare it in the next little thing, right? So if you're not interested in any type of chauffeur work at all, any type of chauffeur work, then you go down the route of, in my opinion, a Ford Tornado, Renault Traffic, or a Vauxhall Viaro, 9-seater, 8 passengers, ticks every box. Obviously, if you don't want to go that maximum, you can still get your normal 8-seaters, which is 7 passengers. Minibus, the Hyundai i800, that's very expensive to run. The diesel is very expensive. I've got one, 2.5 litre diesel automatic, very expensive to run. Probably wouldn't recommend it as a full-time vehicle. Just same again, the ones I previously mentioned, they're your best bets for airport transfers. You can do airport transfers in cars and estates, but you are restricting yourself a lot. So like I've got my Tesla, I can take probably 3 to 4 passengers max, 2 to 3 suitcases. But then all the 5, the 6, the 7-seater, 8-seater work, I've got to give away. That's why I got the minibus. But now next year I'm going to go back down to 1 vehicle, I think. It's too expensive running 2. So I've been looking at it myself. I've been looking at what vehicles to go. So if you want to do a bit of chauffeur work, right? A little bit of exec work, right? Most chauffeur companies and executive companies will probably only take Mercedes. You just always have, it's a very quite a snobbery industry, and they will take Mercedes really, and that's it. So I've got a Tesla Model S. I do little bits of exec, a little bit of chauffeur work, but the big proper chauffeur companies won't take the Teslas really, because it is not a Mercedes. Same as why they won't really take Beamers or Audis. They're executive vehicles, but not in the eyes of these big chauffeur companies. Now here's the big one. Here's the big kicker. So these days, a lot of people go into a V-Class. A V-Class is the pinnacle of chauffeuring. It is. You got the S-Class, but still, it's the V-Class. You can take more passengers than an S-Class, more luggage, right? But outside those large events, those large, like the big golfing events, big sporting events, big like Creamfields, all the V-Classes will ferrying the staff around and the celebs around to and from the stage or whatever, doing a little run around errands. That is where the V-Classes make the money. But you got to think outside of that. You are really restricted in the V-Class, even at extra long wheelbase for luggage. Some lads say 5 to 6 suitcases in a V-Class, extra long wheelbase with enough leg room for the customers to be comfortable. A little bit less, a little bit more, depending on the size of the suitcases. So if you're taking 6, 7 people to the airport, you are very, very restricting yourself, because most people have either a large suitcase or a medium size and a carry-on. Do you know what I mean? So 6 people normally have like 6 to 8, 6 to 10 suitcases with them. So a lot of V-Class work outside of the big events, kind of restricting yourself a bit too much of the luggage, in my opinion. And also because it's a V-Class, it becomes of a very, very high cost and a very expensive cost. Just because it's a V-Class, everything else is more expensive than any other bus. So my personal opinion, I'm going to end the video now. My personal opinion, the best airport transfer vehicle that can still be accepted with a little bit of exec work. It won't get the full shebang like the V-Classes. It won't. Only V-Classes get that. That's a very cornered market. But an extra long wheelbase 9-seater Mercedes Vito, black or silver. That car will absolutely swallow all the luggage. You're talking, I know lads with 15 suitcases in them, 14 suitcases in them. Crazy amounts of boot space in the extra long wheelbase. Right, if you get the one with the leather seats, like the Select, that's got the leather seats and the nice ones. Some have electronic doors, rear aircon. Some of the nice spec ones, right? It's a very, very close to a V-Class in parts of like chauffeur. So just say like the chauffeur company needs 15 V-Classes and there's only 10. They'll take 5 Vitos to fill the gaps, do you know what I mean? But the V-Classes will always get the priority. But the difference is outside the chauffeur work, the Vitos can swallow up all luggage and do loads of airport work and loads up and down the motorway. Your day-to-day, your cream, do you know what I mean? And yeah, so by hands down, my opinion, if you've got no interest in any type of exec or smart desk work, your 9-seater Tornado, your 9-seater Renault Traffic, or your 9-seater, the other one, the Vauxhall Verado, they're the 3 leaders, I reckon. And then if you want to go for a little bit of exec work on top of that, not major exec, just a little bit, then you've got your extra long wheelbase Vito. If you really want to push and do the airports, I wouldn't do the V-Classes. I think they're too restricted with luggage. And obviously your cars are great. Do you know what I mean? Cars are great, but they do restrict you for passengers and luggage. So I know lads in cars doing brilliant. Do you know what I mean? I know a lot of cars, you get a nice estate, an electric up and down the motorway. Yeah, great. There's no wrong in that. But I'm on about like the best all-time vehicle for airport transfers. Especially if you own your own company and you got the pick of the first jobs. But I'd definitely go for the extra long wheelbase Vito. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Do us a favour, let me know in the comments. Am I right? Am I wrong? Share me your opinion. What car have you got? And what car you think's the best to do the airport in? Because in my opinion, it is that. At least then you're available for all types of jobs. Now listen guys, I've started doing a lot of members only content. So if you want to become a member of my channel, it helps me and supports me as much as possible, which is much appreciative. It's $4.99 a month, which is literally the price of a very expensive Costa coffee or something like that. So if you don't mind, if you could sign up, it'll help you out massively. You get some bonus content. Everybody wins. And yeah, and the more money I can bring in for myself, more time and effort I can put into these videos. I'm still a full-time airport transfer taxi guy. And I'd love to tone down on that and be able to afford to by doing a lot more content for you guys. And the only way you can do that is by bringing in income. And at the moment, it just doesn't cut it. I put in a lot more time than actually YouTube and TikTok pay me. So that'd be much appreciative. And obviously, if you're going on holiday, book of DM airport transfers. Why wouldn't you? UK wide, any airport, any city, anywhere in the UK, got hundreds of drivers waiting for work. So do us a favour, book of DM airport transfers. Subscribe to me on YouTube, it's free to do so. Follow me on TikTok. And yeah, if you don't mind, become a member and support me that way. But listen, thanks for watching. As per usual, you gang of legends. Let me know in the comments, and I'll catch you all later. Bye-bye.